Welcome to the K-LGBT Plus Podcast. So today we have our friends Petra from the United States and Christopher from Mexico. So today we'll be talking about their experience here in Korea in Dankook University. Alright, so first of all, I wanna ask you why Korea? Why did you decide to come to Korea? Maybe we can start from Petra.
Hi. If you haven't seen our previous episodes, my name is Petra. I live in the United States. I studied at Dankook University the spring semester of this year with Christopher, who's from Mexico, and I am bisexual. But for my experience in Korea, I really loved it. Why Korea? I was in Korea visiting like a family friend type, and she was teaching English at one of the big language academies in Korea called Avalon. I believe it's called Avalon. And we were visiting her there, and it was always my dream to go to Korea ever since I was 10 years old. And when I was 10, that's when I started listening to the music, started watching the dramas and the variety shows. And I just always thought that Korea was a much better place than America to visit, honestly. But yeah.
I see. All right. So what about you, Christopher?
Okay, for me, so since I was a child, I always get into Asian culture in general, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean. But Japanese because the anime, the video games, and China because I don't know, it's like a exotic place, at least for me. And Korea was more recent, but I remember I starting to know about Korea around 2011. I remember because Girls' Generation was promoting The Voice. That was the one of the first songs I hear about Korea in K-pop. Sorry, and that's why when I get the opportunity to go there, I take it.
All right. So basically, you all came here to Korea because of K-pop, the K-pop culture, Hallyu, right? Me too. We were so hypnotized by all this beauty from Korea. And here we are, ended up in Korea.
You think it's like whatever you see, what you see in Indonesia about K-pop and Korea is the same as living in Korea?
No, not at all. Right? It's not like what we've seen on TV, on YouTube, everything. It's different. Like K-pop idols, actors, actresses, they're just like there outside of this world. Like I didn't get to meet any of them actually, like only a few, but during like a concert. So I think it's like pretty unrealistic if you come to Korea just to like uh see those idols or like the celebrities. It's not like that. You live here just to live your life, your own life.
You're absolutely right about that, and it's really funny because you wouldn't think that you would see them like in random places all over the world, wherever they're touring, but you do. Like, I think recently, I don't know if you guys heard of this YouTuber. His name is Goto or something like that. Like, he's a famous like TikToker slash Instagram, YouTube, whatever person. He makes the really like funny short videos, and he recently came to LA. I think it was last month at the end of probably like 2 weeks, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he came with JYP and ITZY because ITZY came to do their concert here near like Halloween, and a bunch of people in LA went to go and like literally do the random play dance with JYP and ITZY and Goto, the YouTuber, and it's just crazy how you think, yeah, like what Kathleen said, in Korea, you think that you're able to meet them because they're from Korea, but it's so like vast and big, like you can't really like meet them randomly or even plan to meet them unless it's like a concert or an event. But then like you can meet them in other random places, and a lot of it has to do with LA because if you see like the vlogs that idols post of them going to Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm or Universal, most likely you'll be able to see them there without even like knowing, most of the time. And it's just really crazy. And I think that's also the same with like American celebrities too. Like you won't see them here in LA, or you maybe will, but you might have a more of a chance of meeting them in like other states or like in other countries. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about like meeting them on the street, like, oh my god, it's this guy, it's that girl, it's pretty unrealistic. But if you just come maybe to Korea to watch concerts more easily, maybe you can. So you can still see them from far away in the events. Like, you remember when we saw Taeyong? Right? If you watch our previous vlog, that's when me and Christopher and Petra was also there, but she's like not with she's not standing with us because she's like far away there. But me and Christopher, we were together and we were watching this dance variety show, like dance competition called I don't remember.
Anybody can dance.
Anybody can dance, ABCD, and Taeyong was NCT Taeyong was the MC, and there were this street woman fighters, dancers, so it was really fun. So if you go to that kind of event, you can still see them, but maybe like far away from far away, unless you wait from like since morning to see them.
Like us. Yeah, because for us, we watched Taeyeon and City Taeyeon like 1 meter apart. Pretty close, actually.
Cause like we waited there, so the show started at 7, I think, and then like we waited since from 5, I think, from 5 p.m. 3 4 p.m. right? Wow, it was crazy. So you need the effort to see all the celebrities. But anyway, I just want to know like why did you choose Dankook University? How did you know about Dankook University?
Okay, my university, they show all the universities that they have like, how do you call? Like,
The list, the school list, application.
yeah, that you can applicate around the world. So they put like all the countries, and by the countries they put the names of the universities and the space they have for going there. So I remember it was Kyunghee University, Dankook. It was 4 universities in Korea, but I remember only for Kyunghee was one space, and you need compete by your grade with your grades for that space, and Dankook have 4, so it was more probably go to Korea studying in Dankook than the other university that they have like the the friendship. I
Yeah,
don't know.
the exchange, like student exchange. Right. So in my case, it was similar like Christopher's. My college, I came from Cal State Long Beach, is one of the biggest Cal State universities in California and in the United States. I didn't really, it wasn't much competition wise. It was more of like you have to have these specific requirements in order to go. So you had to have, it was depending on different universities in Korea. So the student exchange contract, I guess how you call it, with Cal State Long Beach in Korean universities, there was about 6 to 7 Korean universities that matched up with Cal State Long Beach. But because of my major, I'm an anthropology major, so that's like humanities and history, I wasn't able to choose the four out of like the 4 out of the 7 universities, because those were like engineering or like towards math majors. So there was only probably about 3 or 2 that I could choose from, and one had already closed their application. Like they weren't taking any more students, so there was 2. One was in Daegu. I forgot the university name, but one was in Daegu, and one was in Jukjeon, and it was closer to Seoul, and I didn't want to be far away from Seoul, and Daegu was like way far. It's like 3 or 4 hours. So
It's more close to Busan,
yeah,
right?
Daegu is like one stop away from Busan on a train. So I told myself, no, I'll just like go to Dankook University. And I did not realize that I was the only one who applied there from my whole school. Everyone else went to the other universities. So honestly, like I kind of felt like a little alone at the sense, but I think I'm glad that I chose to go, like I was the only one who applied, because it kind of forced me to make friends with new people and just be very open to like no matter the language no matter the language barriers, we could all still like be friends and have fun. And I'm really glad. I'm really glad. Really glad. But yeah.
Right, like Dankook is where we all met and we formed this group. I feel like I'm so how do I say it? Like to be honest, last semester when you were all here, it was the best semester of my life in Dankook University. Like before, I could never imagine like meeting new people, make friends with uh like a lot of people from other countries. Like I could never imagine that, but when you were all there, it was like my first time meeting new people and make friends with all the language barrier. It was fun.
For me, it was also like out of the 4 years, like I would have thought that maybe I had like one fun semester here being doing the school in the States, but honestly, like my best semester it was this one, going to Korea, and it was my last semester too. So after this, when I came back home, I was done with college. So I loved the fact that I was able to make memory with you guys and my other friends, and be able to end like my college years with just a bang, with a party. I was literally in a party country, party city.
So if you're watching this podcast and you wanna go to Korea, actually Dankook is not a really bad option. Like if you're just here for one semester, you wanna experience the exchange students life, the experience, the culture, the party culture. I think Dankook is a good place because you don't need to like compete so much to get in. You just need some requirements, and then also the location is not so far from Seoul, so it's pretty easy to go to Seoul and party. Yeah, it's a nice university for exchange students
And
actually, but for
yeah, and actually, Jukjeon is a really nice area.
it's a nice area. Like it's peaceful
Yeah.
here. It's not as busy as Seoul, but they still have everything. And also, if you want to go to Seoul, it's pretty easy. You just need to take one bus or take the subway. Only like 30 minutes to 1 hour away. So it's nice here. But it also has a lot of bad things, bad points here. Especially, well, for me, like I live here already like 4 years, and it's pretty frustrating. Like frustrating, lonely, uh, and I don't know how to start. Maybe someone wanna talk about the bad things in Dankook? Volunteer. All right, maybe Christopher first.
Okay, so I want to talk about this because I think it was the first story I told you in person, the first night with me. Um, Okay, so it happened a lot of things before I started to study because we were Petra in Dankook like 1 month before the classes
Yeah,
start, right?
yeah, we were.
Yeah, so when the classes start, I remember my first date. I was looking my schedule and I was trying to find the classroom. So I get to the classroom a little late, like 10 minutes. And I remember I was like knocking the door. I asked to her, I can come in? Yeah, I can go into the class. And she said like, yeah, but you can see the deception in her face. So I was like, she's mad because I come here late. And then I looked the classroom and all of them was Korean. I was the only person in the group who was foreigner. And that class is supposed to be teach mixed Korean and English. So when I came to the classroom, she need to speak also in English. You know what I try to say? So she asked me like in a nice way to drop the class because I was the only foreigner there, and she don't want to explain in two language the same thing. Only for me.
Yeah.
So I remember when she was like, Christopher, I need to talk with you like when the class ends. So I was like, what happened? And she was like, I don't think you are going to do great in this class. So probably you must look for other class and not this one because blah 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 blah. So it was kind of disappointing how the teacher treat me. And also the my classmates were like, I don't know how to explain. They were always speaking between them, but they never say like hi to me or they never try to
Yeah.
talk to me.
Basically, like you were like in isolation, or kind of they were like pushing you
Yeah.
away, kind of a bit, only because you weren't Korean. And I just think, yeah, that's kind of the hard part about it. Kathleen, you raised your hand.
Yeah, I think they have like a real serious problem with foreigners. I don't know why. They just don't wanna make friends with foreigners. Once they see a foreigner, they will just look away. They won't even bother to look at your eyes or your face. They will just foreigners. And and then talk to like other Koreans like uh so like being an international student here or exchange students, um just don't hope for any friendship with Korean.
I think, Christopher, I totally understand you with that. I just feel like she should have like went at it in a better way, like a better way to explain to you instead of saying you're just gonna do horrible, you're not gonna do well. I think she should have explained it a little further to you, that because or it made it more understandable, like, oh yeah, because it's full of Koreans and you're just the one foreigner, you may not understand the concept as well as they do, which is still also kind of rude to say, but at least her explaining it a little more for you would have been better than just saying you're not going to do well. I just think that sounds, it doesn't sound that wrong, but at the same time it sounds like she didn't have confidence and if you were able to like succeed in the class.
By the thing that Caroline, who is Korean, she explained me that maybe that teacher can feel a little intimidated because I'm foreigner, so probably she could think because I'm foreigner my English is perfect, which not. But because when okay the first day I was in that class, I need to introduce myself, right? Like I'm the new here. So I say like, hi, my name is Christopher. Christopher is a pretty American name. I'm Christopher and I'm from Mexico, but and I live in Baja California. But when they hear California, when they hear
Yeah.
Christopher, and when they see my face, they say like, "Oh, foreigner, foreigner,
Yep.
foreigner, English, English,
Mhm.
English, English,"
Yeah.
and that's not true. And also, the teacher make some awkward question, like she was explaining the class, in Korean, and then she explained a little in English, and she was like, Christopher, is BTS popular in America? And I was like, what? She asked me that, and I was like, okay.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
so yeah, but I don't know. Like, I was like, I feel like the little mascot, like the little exotic thing in the class, not like a student.
And that's really funny because then when you take the language classes, for example, I took Korean reading, and Christopher, you took speaking, right? So,
Yeah.
like in that class, it's funny because the teacher does the same thing to us because we're all foreign students taking the class. But also, the teacher feels even more intimidated because they have to teach us Korean. But usually, I don't know why, Dankook University. See, that's also one another bad thing. These language classes that they might make you take, or it's optional for you. Most of the time it's optional, but they put teachers who are not very good. At least with my experience with my Korean reading teacher, she was so nice, so sweet, but like her English skills were not as great as our Korean skills from the first start off. But I don't think they also gave them like pointers or helpful tips to help jumpstart the class. And I feel like at least train the teachers a little bit more to be more conversive in English, but also at the same time with the students help us be a little bit more conversable with the teacher like in Korean from the start so we can help each other be better. And I just felt like Dankook University didn't really like focus on that much. They just kind of threw the teacher into a class full of foreign students and just was like, okay, God give you luck, see how it goes, you know, like, psh. And it just to me, I just felt bad. But Kathleen,
Yeah, it's the same for me. So the first time I was here in Korea, I took the language course for 3 months in Dankook University, and all the teachers they teach Korean in Korean. So they don't speak English at all, but mostly from in our class we're Chinese, so it's no use if they speak English. But for you guys who come from another country, I think it's better to at least like speak English a little bit to teach it better, right? But I don't know, like they keep doing this, like they think like explaining Korean word in Korean will work, but it doesn't work. Like how are you gonna explain uh a grammar of a language in that language to someone who doesn't know the language? Like, huh? It will be like it's gonna be like nonsense getting into your head. Like, huh?
And also that remember, like in the dormitories, they don't meet foreigners with Koreans. Koreans sleep with Koreans. Chinese with Chinese, and the other people, it's like meats.
yeah,
Why they do that? I mean, it's supposed to mm, you go and knew the culture, but at the same time they are going to you are living with another person who is not from that country.
yeah. I
So
think
it's kind of confused to
honestly,
me.
it was kind of lazy the way they did it because all of us lived in international hall. Me, you, and Kathleen. And I know that for my floor and Kathleen's floor, yeah, it was just a bunch of foreigners, right? But the floor on it, I think it was the third and fourth floor for the girls' side, they were just full of Chinese students paired up with each other. And honestly, I think it was kind of wrong to do that because it to me it just seemed lazy. Like you just threw what you said. You threw foreigner with foreigner, Chinese with Chinese, Korean with Korean. If you want it to be an actual like international hall, mix up the students. Just put them randomly. And honestly, I kind of like how they also ask for preference too with the roommates. Oh, Christopher, you had your hand up.
My last roommate was from Venezuela, but I still hate her.
She was a bitch.
She was a bitch, and like
Venezuela.
before, yeah, Venezuela, and before that, I was always like either with Chinese or Malaysians, and Vietnamese, but never Korean. They always put international student with international students, and Koreans always with Koreans. But I think it makes sense. Like, mm, for me, going to the class with full of Koreans is already so bad. I don't want to live with them. So I'd rather be a roommate with a Chinese. But I don't know. I never experienced being living together with a Korean. So well, I think it's better. It's actually better to put people from the same country to live together. For me, because like until now, all my roommates, they're always like maybe like the Chinese. I always have problem with them, and also with my last roommate, uh, was from Venezuela, and I also have a problem with her. But like the only roommates that I like were from Malaysia. So Malaysia and Indonesia is pretty close, and we have like similar culture, and we both speak uh English. So communication is good, and the culture is good. The way we do things are similar. So I think it's better that way. Like um yeah, I like it that way. I don't wanna be roommate with Korean. I don't wanna. I can't imagine it. Like being in the same class with them is already like very depressing for me.
Oh,
And for you, Petra, which nationality?
My roommate's internationality was, what was she? Oh, Russian. And during this time,
Oh,
when we were put as roommates together, that's when the whole Germany Russian ordeal was going on, and the oppression and just the war between them two. So I knew that even though like she came to Russia, I don't know what her reason was for coming to Korea. I only know that maybe it was good for her to get away from all what was happening. She was her and another friend of ours, Paulina from Germany, they kind of like came to Korea to get away from the situation, which was good. And my roommate also loved BTS Suga, so she really was in love with him. So it was her happy place to be in Korea. But I think for me, the question, like what Kathleen said, Kathleen, in your experience, as you said right now, you like being with someone from the same country. I think for me, I'm the opposite. I actually did enjoy like being with a roommate who was not American, only because sometimes American people can be full of shit and just be very like judgmental of other people or be the stereotypical American, which is what I hated because it was just so annoying. So I always liked the idea of being with other people from other cultures, even like having friends here in America. I always love try to have friends from like different cultures, and I love the fact that in Korea I was actually able to do more of that. And if if it was honestly, if it wasn't for Dankook, I would have never met Christopher and Kathleen and Caroline. So yeah, although like there are good and bad points to Dankook University, honestly, just studying abroad in itself led me towards you guys, and I'm really grateful that I have you guys as friends. Because honestly, I don't know how I would have like survived like doing the partying thing by myself or just having someone to share the same feelings, because me and Christopher are from the western part of the world. We're from America, like the North American side. And then we just like, grew up kind of in a similar like boundaries and a similar like, I don't know how to call it. Not society, it's not culture. It's like, I don't know, it's not similar environment, but there's not that much difference. You get what I'm saying?
difference.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think um the whole roommate situation. In Kathleen's case, it worked out being with someone who's from the same country. For me, it worked out being with someone who's from a different country. And I think, yeah. What about you, Christopher? Your roommate, your experience.
Well, for me, before going to Dankook, I was so afraid because I know I need to live in the dormitory with another boy, but I'm gay. So I was feeling like, oh, this is going to be like really awkward. But because, some men are kind of disgusting. They're in boxers on the room or talking about girls or looking porn. I don't know. I have that bad idea about the straight men's, like the straight to me men's. But actually, my roommate, he was from Germany, Rafael, and he was like a really pretty good roommate. The only bad thing about me and Rafael, and I don't blame him, is we feel a little awkward between us because we don't have a lot in common. So sometimes we spend the whole day in the room, but without talking anything. And the room are so little,
Small.
small, yeah. So you feel close, like physical, but we were so fucking in another places on our minds.
Yeah, for me, it was the same with my Russian roommate. The only common thing with each other is the love for like BTS, and we didn't have the same bias, so that was no problem. Her bias was Suga, my bias was Taehyung V, but other than that, yeah, there were times in a room where we would just sit. Our backs are really close together because the chairs, like, there's not that much space in the room. Well, I don't know if you guys have videos of your dorm room. I took videos.
I have.
I
Okay,
have, I have.
Okay.
so I think like you got like we'll probably post up a video in the next like week or so, like of just how our dorms looked, how we set it up and all that. And before before us, I don't know, Kathleen, if they ever did this to you, but for me and Christopher, we had to quarantine in the other dorm. This is really stupid about Dankook too. So we thought that they had prepared our dorm. Like, we were literally in quarantine for 1 week. We were in the same ass building that we lived in a dorm for the rest of the semester. Yeah, we had to move our shit out of the quarantine to go to another building. And then, like, probably a month after that, we had to switch back to the same building. It was pissing me off.
No, it was like only
Oh,
two
was it
weeks.
2 weeks? Sorry, I thought it was a month. Wait, what day did you get out, Christopher? Was it the Tuesday or the Wednesday?
I remember it was Thursday, I think.
Tuesday? I think we were the same day. And yeah, sorry. Okay, not a month. I was exaggerating, maybe. So 2 weeks. But it was just annoying because, like, we were in the same as, like, building. Why would you make us move out of the building to go to another one, to go back to the same one? It didn't make sense.
They treated you because you just came from like another country, and then they treated you as like you're a virus, so you need to be quarantined, and then the room that you're quarantined in needs to be clean until you can move in again. Like, that's the way they do things here. They make everything complicated. They treat people bad. Like, they treat you like you're some kind of virus. Like,